Thank you and welcome again. Last session we were talking about the two marriages. So we will discuss in a little detail so that the knowledge in the intellect is settled. Another question comes to why Master says start with the faith and how, how it ends with the wisdom. Normally, we talk about belief and the blind belief, a long list. What is the way? So, how the two marriages, one is the teacher, acts as a priest to marry the intellect of a seeker to the Eastern wisdom. And second, the mind marries to the intellect with devotion. You know, I'm devoted to my profession. You see, we use the word. I'm devoted to my honey. No one is devoted to the, but anyhow, that's a statement. So, 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 mind is devoted to the intellect to transform and awaken. Then another question is also very important. I have been saying it, repeating it, pleading it, inspiring it. That please do the repeat listening and learning. Do the repeat contemplation and reflection. Very important point, but question is why? Translate. That is what we need to understand. And then what starts happening when the two marriages takes place in a right manner? What actually exactly happens? Then you need not to do anything. The thing starts happening on your own. What is that? Oh, change in our attitude, behavior, personality, responses, professions, society. Everything starts happening. So the first question is the faith, faith or belief. Faith or belief. What we say regarding faith or belief, faith is the knowledge pending inquiry. I have to believe it. Without belief, without faith. That is why you see the entire Eastern wisdom says no, believe. But they don't go deeper and understand it. So faith is the knowledge pending inquiry. Faith is believing before you know it, so that you know it what you believe. Belief, or anyone, belief is knowledge pending inquiry. So you believe in real self before you know it, so that you know it to believe it. And we apply that in our daily life. You go to the car dealer, oh, I like this car. You have not driven. You have only read about it. You have an information. You buy it to believe by experience, by knowledge. So that faith refers to a belief or a trust in something, even without complete evidence or proof. Like the geometrical theorems I have told you a couple of times, it is an acceptance of something as true. And then we apply the knowledge to reach to that clarity, to experience that. That is the journey of discovery of the real self. And there we need an inquiry. We need to have an inquiry into it. So now I have created not an equation, but in a straight line, the teacher, Eastern wisdom is a knowledge, intellect, and then comes the vasanas. Then comes the vasanas, past impressions, our reactions, our anger, anxiety. All this is vasanas, mind, and emotion or devotion. If the mind marries with the intellect through devotion, the journey becomes the joy of a conscious living. You need not to worry about it. Then you get a revelations all the time, 24 by 7. And that transforms. So you see that in modern coaches, I have seen a couple of websites, transformative coaching. I know we say leadership coaching and what executive coaching. David and Stephen, they are more aware of that. Coaching is only one to bring about a change in the mind. The mind was the worst master. Now mind is the faithful servant, because the mind has married to the intellect, means knowledge, through emotion. There no reasoning is applied. We have to apply the reasoning in the first case, in the first marriage. Same thing with the car. Oh no, this facility is good, this is good, this is good, this is good. Reasoning, knowledge. Pay attention. It happens in every cases. But in Eastern wisdom, we go very deep and understand what is happening to the consciousness with reference to the intellect and the mind. That is solved, so understand that part. So now come to the second question to understand. But if you don't practice those 8 steps, it will not happen. That is one thing is very clear. On the practical side, we have to continue those 8 steps. If we don't do those 8 steps, it will not happen. It will not happen. Then we come to the next question. What is the next question? I have written, why master says start with the faith? I have answered. How to marriages? I have answered. Why masters plead, request, inspire to do the repeat, listening and learning? It has yet to go inside our head. Why? Because if it goes inside our head, I remember 24 by 7. But if we answer this question clearly, logically, that why masters plead, request, and inspire the seekers to do the repeat practice again and again and again, until to a point where the mind reaches to a natural practice of 7 step. Where is the 7th step, do you know? Yes, I will remind you. Don't worry. 7th step is desire for the real self continues to live in the mind, in the field of awareness. That is the second. And that results into the 8th one also. But question is, why master says that? Repeat listening. That needs to be clearly understood. And then we will go to the verse that we have done. That is the summary. You are repeating. Just take an example. You are repeating. You are repeating. 5 weeks, 6 weeks, what will happen? What will happen to the mind? The mind remembers, reminds. The mind becomes interested. What do you mean by interested? Take an example of that young guy I told you that he went to the restaurant to dine and he saw the beautiful girls throughout dining. His mind was totally, I can use the word, obsessed with those beautiful girls. So what is the force? One thing is the object outside, other is a pleasure seeking. Now your mind, by repetition, now it reminds and recalls that I have a desire for the real self. The past impression and the vasana prevents you to forget the desire for the real self. Means what? You all remember. You remember. You are in the field of awareness. Don't you remember that you are a man and a woman? You remember. Do you need to say that? Do you need to repeat that? No. That repetition, contemplation and reflection creates a seed of desire for the real self. Now see, this desire is different from the other desires. Oh, I desire to have a home. I told you, I discussed that. So the moment you have a desire for the home, you have sub-desires also. What are the sub-desires? You are buying a second home. Oh, let me check my restroom and the kitchen, refrigerator and other stuff is working or not. Oh, let me buy it and I will get it corrected. I will get it repaired. So any desire in the material world, it goes with the sub-desires. And that creates a pleasure-seeking mind in the world outside. Pleasure is not outside, happiness is not outside, so we get frustrated. Did the intellect marry to the wisdom of Eastern wisdom? You are relaxed, calm, peaceful here and now. Choiceless awareness is here and now. Go back. So now by repetition of these principles, contemplation and reflection, what happens? First, it motivates you to continue all the first 8 steps, but something different happens. The word I will use today is the value. By repetition, what is happening? There is a value in the mind. What is that value? I get more and more interested. I need not to remember and recall. It is already present in my mind. Are you getting it? It is natural. It is natural in either you desire anything in the world outside or you desire the real self. Now you know that every day I wake up in the morning, mind has a value. What is that value? The value is desire for the real self. What happens if you strengthen that value? The value converts into faith. Are you getting it? Value converts into... I always laugh, And I have checked, examined my own mind. So I wanted to buy a monitor and then I was looking. One desire was there that I have to get a monitor for these sessions. So I postponed this. I just want to inquire, find out what is good, what is the best, what is cost effective. So the value has been created in the mind. And one day I went to the Best Buy. I said, this is the best one. Let me get it. If you do not understand, you can ask the questions. Be very clear. So I may be highly intelligent, but the value in the mind is not developed or created or placed, it will not convert into faith. And if it is not converting into the faith, then the faith to emotion, to devotion. Faith brings the realization, oh, I'm devoted, I'm okay. So, first 8 steps helps the seeker to reach to that point of intense desire for the real self. So if I have only intense desire for the real self, I cannot eat what I like. No. You do everything, all your activities as it is. You follow your profession, you work, but internally, the way you non-verbally aware that you are a man and a woman, you are non-verbally aware that I'm the real self. That is meditation. That is meditation, simple contemplation and reflection. Answer is yes. That is meditation. So you continue to live into that meditative state. Are you getting it? Say yes. Even if you don't get it, no problem. Because more and more contemplation and no, but raise another question. But the real self is already there. Why you need to repeat it? Your house is already there. You don't have a number. You don't have a location. Then what? You know that I have a house, I own a home, but you don't know the address and the location and the county and the state and the country. What? Then what? Are you getting it? Our masters gives a clarity to this. So the real self is already there. Why I should desire? Normal question comes to our mind. In meditation, I am aware of that real self, or I experience that real self. Oh, but that happens in every meditation. Yes, and then the vasana takes over. The past impression takes over, forgetfulness takes over, ignorance takes over, and then I continue to suffer. I get more obsessed and attached to the world outside. It does not mean that I'm not performing my duty. Do you remember? Another principle, duty and the right. Duty and the right. My duty is to drive under a speed limit. I forget that. Oh, it's my right. I am punished. So when I desire for happiness and peace, any object in the world, normally, slowly, because of the past impression, because of the reaction, because of the anxiety we already have inside, it converts into my right. I have a right. Why don't you pay me? For example, in my session, but we are coming back. Go back. Again, I'm stressing the real self is already there. I'm already a real self. That is from where the Eastern wisdom starts. What happens to my life? When I get married, when I'm repeating and contemplating, there is a perfect, 2 marriages are perfect, then what happens? That is our question. If you understand the question, then we can go further. Say yes, you have understood the question. So I will use a metaphor here. Real self is pure consciousness. It is existence, consciousness, bliss. It is eternal. It is present everywhere. It is present everywhere. So the cloud is present today. Yesterday we saw it, everything was clouded. But it's very, that cloud is not coming down to give me a feel of a rain and a cold weather unless the cloud is converted into rain. What happens? When the two marriages are perfect, the past impression is not disturbing your mind. The cloud of the real self manifests in the form of a rain. You experience the immense joy inside, choiceless awareness that you're living in mindfulness. Did you understand the metaphor? The cloud as it is not going to come down. But the cloud will manifest in the form of a rain. And we enjoy that. And that rain changes everything. Last month I was watching a Discovery Channel of South Africa in Savannah. When the rain comes, within few days, the grass grows and it is eaten by the animals, and the lions also approach those areas where these grass-fed animals are found. So there is a total chain. Entire cycle is naturally created. The moment that real self is allowed to manifest after these two marriages, you start experiencing the change and the transformation. And the entire journey is summarized by one master, by that verse which I discussed in the last session, Vidya Dadati Vinayam. Knowledge, Eastern wisdom, through the teacher, mind transforms into a mind of humility. Humility is nothing but the rise in consciousness in the mind devoted to the knowledge. It recognizes, because of the past impression, because I am into anxiety, limitation, and ignorance. I am reacting, limitation and ignorance. I am frustrated. I have a lot of fears because of limitations and ignorance. So the Eastern wisdom, because of the marriage, there is a rise in consciousness in the mind, a state of humility takes over. Good. Vidya dadati vinayam. Vinayam dadati patratam. That humility in the mind converts the mind, and I become a seeker. I would use the word I become a qualified seeker. How? Because I've been practicing those 8 steps. That is the summary. Then what happens? The qualified seeker receives the wealth of the rain. Wealth of the rain. That is the beginning we get a flash. Now the faith is so strong without doubt. Oh, it happens. Christina, in the last session, did you listen to her? She said, my eyes were feeling tired and I was totally tired and fatigued when I did it, when I understood, and now I'm totally clear. The rain. People don't recognize it. So this verse is just a summary. What is that summary? Vidya dadati vinayam, the knowledge of the Eastern wisdom. Remember, remind. Teacher, knowledge, intellect. And then it starts attracting the mind. How? By following the 8 steps, by repeating and contemplation, mind increases the value for the real self. Value. And that value converts into, it strips the emotions from the reaction, anger, anxiety, frustration, and fear. It uses the same emotion. Humility. Humility makes you a qualified seeker. Qualified seeker receives the wealth of the wisdom and the experience. And what is the last? Dhanad dharma tata sukham. If you continue the journey, that value converts into, now those qualities are holding me. Do you understand? Holding me all the time. I hold you by hand, that is one thing. And those qualities, that rain is holding me. So when the rain is holding me, there is a continued state of the happiness. And that is how we recognize that permanent happiness is the nature of the real self. If you have doubt, yes, you can raise the question. I have told you that Eastern wisdom is nothing but the instrument of knowledge. We understand, even if you understanding, that very understanding helps you to get rid of those vasanas and the past impressions. One master says, no, you need a practice because you are not a qualified seeker. The moment you become a qualified seeker, these marriages have taken place. There is a value in the mind to desire the real self. You need to simply listen to the teacher, and very listening, contemplation, and reflection helps you to live and think, to live into that state of meditation. You need not to do the practice. Think. Contemplate. So reflect on is that why the masters are saying to repeat, listening and learning. You sit down, pick up any principle. Humility, what is this? Marriage of the mind to the intellect, which has already absorbed into the knowledge of the real self and the process and the method. But the mind will only marry to the intellect with devotion and emotion. And that emotion and devotion will come by repetition. It's not a pastime. 2 times a week we are doing it. I have a lot of things to do outside, so your priority is outside. Value in the mind is outside. If I don't earn money, who is saying don't earn? No, I don't have a time for contemplation, but I have a time to react and angry and agitated over the honey in my relationship. I have a lot of time. People do not understand this. Only a seeker can understand this. first marriage creates a very strong foundation, and the second builds over the foundation. That is this. This verse clearly understands Vidya Dadati Vinayam, knowledge to humility, humility to qualified seeker, and then you wait, being a qualified seeker. What is that waiting? That is the practice of meditation. That is simply the practice of meditation. At last, we stop doing everything. Do you see that? Well, no, let me wait. And the cloud converts, manifest. I won't say convert, it manifests into the rain. And that rain contains everything. I gave an example of Savannah in South Africa. There is a rain, and after few weeks, everything is green. That happens on its own. You start experiencing what these changes have come. Well, you were reacting to your honey, now it becomes soft and gentle. It comes from the mind. Same reaction comes also from the mind. So previously it was dictated by the past impression, now it is governed. Rain. So I have covered the ninth step. I did not speak about it. I will speak in the next session what exactly is the ninth step. And you'll be surprised. It doesn't make any sense if you listen to the ninth step. There are more things to come, but I will stop there with the ninth step. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed. Place, position, and posture. Can you see the marriage has taken place or not? It is not taken place. Oh, unnecessary, unwanted thoughts is disturbing you. Even if you are trying to hold the body, you are holding the body, so your energy is wasted in holding the body. You are not practicing meditation. This is the reasoning for the seekers. That is what I'm saying. One more time, we'll go to all the 8 steps to help you. Being comfortable. Being comfortable. You know that being carefree. It is the value. Again, I'm reminding you now in a different way. The value is settled in the mind with devotion, with reference to the knowledge. You are always comfortable and carefree. Always? What do you mean? Yes. That's the journey of a higher seeker. Okay. And then you're carefree. And not only that, the very first neighbor is the world outside. Does anything in the world chase me to create a reaction, anger, anxiety, and fear? Or it is my own mind with a specific value? Again, I'm specifically using the word value so that you are clear. That value, the fear, has been created because I'm the body, I'm the mind. Do you see that? How easy it is. at the same time how challenging it is. You have sudden episodes of fear and the frustration and the react. And rain is there. Everything is washed out. Second neighbor is the body, the physical body. Body, yes. So because of the value, you compare that, am I the body or am I the real self? Check where the mind goes. You know it, you know it. And you also know why it is not happening. And you also know why it is happening. No doubt, no blind belief. Third neighbor is the energy, life. Will you like to discover permanent happiness after 10 years? In these 10 years, we want to earn a lot of wealth. Ask yourself, will you be capable enough to pursue the path of self-discovery after 10 years? We don't see the urgency. Value and the urgency go together. Fourth neighbor, mind. And it's very clear, mind is not married to with devotion, and the intellect and the I thought. So we continue to live in ignorance, but still, because we are seekers, so we will never forget Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. May there be happiness for all. May there be happiness for all. Happiness, I already discussed. Can your mind move there and reflect and ready to wait for the rain? It happens in just a fraction of a second with a shift of awareness. Shift in awareness or shift of awareness, whatever you want to say. Shift of awareness. Happiness is not there, but I got rid of the vasanas. Why? Faith is there, the happiness is my essential nature. Understanding is very much required in the journey of the Eastern ways. And Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. Use the same logic, same contemplation and reflection. Do you find that as if there is an infinite space inside and outside the body? There is only a space. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. May there be completeness in all. The mind will definitely step in. You see that? I spoke the fourth line as the third line. Mind. But you know it. Previously the mind was playing with you. Now you play with the mind. Mind, you said it, but I know what it is. Instant. Qualified seeker? Check. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. One guy last week, he was into the gym and he had an acute pain around the shoulder. I said, let us practice meditation. He could not do it. Why? Mind gave the value to the pain. You drop the value to the pain, even in the midst of the pain, you can practice. That is auspiciousness. So if I don't experience the rain manifest from that cloud, and so there are blockages, there is a. So those blockages we can change it. Look inside the forehead, start dropping Om Shanti in the state of the stillness, start breathing long, deep in the hissing into your belly this time. You are breathing long, deep in the hissing breath into your belly. You are aware of the expansion and contraction of the belly, and you are breathing correctly. You are doing Om Shanti. The body is in the state of sensation, relaxation, and stillness. You know why I'm reminding you all those points? So that the mind recognizes the value. Simple understanding. But that simple understanding doesn't settle easily. You have to repeat, repeat, repeat. Ego comes, no, I have already understood. Why should I repeat it? Ego is tied to the intellect, and the mind continues to create problems inside. Continue deep, silent, not deep, silent, long, deep in the hissing breath, your expansion and contraction of the belly, because the breath is the same. It is not the fast expulsion of the breath, it is the same. Continue breathing long, deep, and hissing. Continue dropping Om Shanti inside your forehead in the state of the peace and happiness. You continue, you already understand that if the mind is not listening, because then you have to invoke the endurance, and from the endurance you go to the state of joy of doing it. So you instantly pick up. Why you pick up? Because two marriages are perfect. Just have a clear understanding about it. Now stop this. Just stop this. Be aware of the flow of the breath. Do not change the rate and the rhythm of the breath. Check the flow. The breath is equal or not equal. You continue to be aware of the flow of the breath. That flow of the breath do not change, or the maximum change that happens, that flow of the breath becomes equal. Equal means what? That is the tantra and the kundalini way to recognize the same thing that I discussed today. Your perception changes. They relate it to the third eye. And now start breathing little deep, silent and slow, both into the belly and the rib cage. As you inhale, your mind moves from the top center of the head, dropping into the spine, reaching into the tailbone, and your mind is singing inside Shanti. When you breathe out deep, silent and slow, the mind is moving from the tailbone into the spine, reaching to the top of the head, singing Om Shan. More or less, it is non-verbal. So non-verbal is also as if the mind do not carry the burden that you are saying Om Shanti. It's more at the non-verbal level. But you hear this sound. How you hear this sound? You recall the sound from your past memory. It's possible. If your mind says it is not possible, then why you are able to recall those events of fear, anxiety, duality, and a conflict? Then why it is not happening? Marriage has not taken place. Clear understanding. Just continue. Your breath is deep, silent, and slow. So it is basically we added some active step, we added some passive step. So the passive step is non-verbal. Without any physical movement, you are saying Om Shanti. So you are recalling, reminding. I believe I made everything clear. Continue. Now leave this step also. Drop Om Shanti on the 16 segments of the fingers and continue to check that all the senses are within, living in the mind itself, in the field of awareness. No movement of the lips and the tongue. You hear, you feel the sense of the touch on the 16 segments and see what happens. Now you can easily understand these steps, the way I designed these steps. The goal is the one. We want the rain, and then the real journey starts. Direct experience of the real self. I'm not talking too much. I feel you all are absorbed. And now leave this, move the mind inside the heart, visualize the triangle of any color, dropping Om Shanti, checking the sink in. Once you find the sink, push the mind deep inside the core of your heart. Saying check mind seemingly stops. You say Shanti, and after that, in the field of awareness, you are doing nothing. You are not a doer. So that subtlest doership is nothing but the I thought also goes away. And then the rain starts. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your Buddha palms, place it in your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences, bring the hands down, we'll share our experiences. If you have any question, you can ask the question. How are you, Dennis?
Thank you. I like how you explained and connected together the belief, the faith, the wisdom, the real self. Uh, so basically, my summary is that this journey starts with a belief, pending inquiry, then it proceeds into the knowledge that confirms the belief, that grows into wisdom, and it all ends with a faith in the real self, the unconditional and doubtless faith in the real self. And then the other thing that I find very helpful is the word value and how you explained it, the value-oriented approach, where the value of real self in my mind must overweigh the value of all other objects, desires, pleasures, etc. Then there is no question of priorities. There is no question of not having time for practice. No question of missing contemplation and reflection. It all happens automatically when the value is correct, is proper. Thank you.
You should be the teacher in this session. How clearly you explained. So indirectly he is saying, today I'm not attending this session. That is the answer. Value is not there. Value is somewhere else. So you will not attend. You will have a lot of problem. You may have a problem of internet. You may have a problem of long list. Don't worry about it. Do you see that? How beautifully he summarizes. How are you, Stephen?
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Girish. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
During the lesson, thank you for that lesson. I too was drawn to the value of the real self, and listening to the lesson and the talk about the repetition made me think about a professional athlete, and they have the way that they wake up, the way that they work out, the way that they eat, and the way that they practice their trade, and they repeat it over and over and over again. And for me, for us, the value is the real self, and that takes practice, that takes commitment, that takes repetition of the principles over and over again. And then it brought the whole thing together for me about the marriage of the value, the knowledge, the real self, the whole bit, and brought it together. And it just led to this really, I just had this good feeling when I put that all together, and it led into my it led into my meditation that was just completely quiet, still, and totally in the moment. So thank you.
Yes, you rightly said. So athlete repeats. So at the level of the athlete, the 8 steps. At a higher level, 2 marriages. So I just combine both of them. And you are right, athlete, value in the mind. A value in the mind is just to sleep little more, and then everything is washed out. That is the problem of Eastern wisdom in the journey of the self-discovery. You left one day. You have brought more than a millions of desires in present in the mind seeking the world outside. Millions that you don't notice it. I will talk about that. Very good, wonderful. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you. Yeah, the putting the value in the mind that is focused on the pain in the neck really strongly resonated with me as well. And I went into the meditation focused on that and focused on putting the value on my mind that things, on myself and so I started to internalize. And then I had this real weird epiphany during my meditation, and that is we are simply a conduit to the consciousness, and we just need to put the value in understanding that that's all we are. And for me, that was just very enlightening. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautifully said. Yes, value to the real self. Now there is one subtle point here. Am I aware I'm giving a value to my real self? Or I am unconsciously, habitually thinking of value to the real self? It will not work. It works with all my obsession, craving, and pleasure seeking mind, but it will not work with the value for the real self. I have to maintain awareness. Dennis, if I lose awareness, it is gone. But why I lose awareness? My mind has already given value to so many things in life. And every day our value changes from the mind. That is the problem. How are you, Jerry?
So good, thank you. And thank you to everybody that shared so far, because just I feel like I kind of experienced everything there, and that good space that was there is really, it's kind of like Stephen was saying with the athlete, they practice, they keep practicing no matter how great they are.
Yeah.
They continue to practice, and that's the humility that comes for us too, is even as we think that we are and we know we're devoted to our real self, we continue to practice and share that seed through our actions and our words and our thoughts.
Yes, you're right. That is one most important thing. Now, these sessions have reached to a state where you manifest that real self in your thought, in your speech, in your action, in your profession, when you wake up in the morning, when in the afternoon, every time. To see and to check. The more you do it, the more you evolve. And then, then we are doing a service to the Eastern wisdom. The tradition continues. My master used to say that if I could ignite in you only one person, that is enough for me. I don't need millions. He was living up to the word. So that time has come. How are you, Brandy?
I'm good, thank you. I really appreciated the example of the cloud. I don't know if I've ever thought of my meditation before as waiting and like holding space for something to rain down and create lushness, and I appreciated that way of seeing that a lot. So I held that through my meditation today. Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Yes. I wanted to throw some more light, and I will be doing it in future sessions. What is happening that you are self-absorption, but you are aware. So you are aware the I thought says, oh, become aware of this, become aware of that. No. Awareness of waiting. Waiting for what? Waiting for a rain to manifest. That is what we say a revelation takes place. Because of that revelation, principles are the same, but every teacher expresses differently. That is the beauty. Buddha starts from the journey, the world is suffering. One master starts the journey, world is an opportunity. So it is based on their revelation. Problem is the same. Principle is the same. And how are you, Barbara?
I'm very good, thank you. I also enjoyed the metaphor of the cloud being the consciousness and the rain having it completely
Yes.
encompass you. Um, Also, with the breathing today, when you said the joy of breathing, in the beginning, I was able to do the breathing, but I didn't look forward to it. But now I actually feel joy in it.
Value. Same answer. It is the value. When you enjoy that, obviously, the mind says, I have to do it. Besides anything, no problem, no breakup. Value. So, value in the mind, and it comes by emotion, feeling. And that emotion, feeling is understood as devotion. So, don't take devotion as a word in the religious term. How are you, Terry?
Yeah, good.
Good, very good.
Yeah, I like the idea of waiting.
Idea of waiting, yes.
I related to the metaphor of rain. Yeah.
You see, something is popping up in my mind. You are waiting. It doesn't mean that you are unconscious. You are waiting, say, you are waiting your friend or a honey in a restaurant. So it means you don't close your eyes to the other people. Everything is there.
I
But
was
because the value is not attached to anyone outside except to whom you are waiting, that brings the transformation. In modern, in US, we say transformative coaching. Let me define transformation first. Then I will talk to you.
I have a question.
Yes.
If you recall the Om Shanti,
Yes. Yes.
is is that a is that a wasam?
Yes. It is. It is. If it is required, you do it. So what happens? There are many levels of recalling. You recall verbally. You recall non-verbally. You recall with the vision. So when you recall with the vision, it is value. So no issue. You can do that. My honey is not coming. I'm waiting. My honey has not come. Obviously, I'm repeating. Yeah, yeah. So instead of honey, it is Om Shanti. So yes, how are you, Sangeeta?
सर जैसे वैल्यू देना है तो मेरे लिए सबसे पहले दिन का काम शुरुआत यही होती है कि मुझे मेडिटेशन करनी है और उसके लिए आधा घंटा पहले मैं उठती हूँ ताकि बाकी काम मेरे डिस्टर्ब ना हो तो
Yeah.
और रात को सोने से पहले करना ही है मुझे
Yes, she raised a very beautiful point. Let me translate first. She says that because I give value to the meditation and I have to do all my homework because I'm a homemaker, it means that I must wake up half an hour before to complete my meditation practice and then I start doing it. That's a good, that is the way of a seeker. Otherwise, people say, I wake up so late, so I was rushing to my office and the work. You cannot make them understand unless they become a seeker. You cannot make them understand. So then the teacher finds very challenging that how to help. You wake up early. That is what happens, That is the journey of the Eastern wisdom. And once, if you are married to the journey, at least this life, we don't know what is going to happen in the future, but this life is always beautiful. This life is always full of peace, love, and wisdom. That is all for today. Thank you very much.
Namaste. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Thank you.